Hi everyone, we're going to be making homemade mozzarella today. You're going to need a few items and then we'll get started. So a couple things you'll need is non-chlorinated water, like a spring water. I have Deer Park. You're going to need a thermometer. A digital one is probably best. Citric acid, animal rennet. It's made by New England Cheese Making Supply Company. You can find it on Amazon. This lasts a long time because you don't use much, and always want to follow the instructions on the bottle. This bottle states here half a teaspoon sets 2 gallons of milk, so it coagulates it with half a teaspoon. We do have to dilute the citric acid and the rennet in some water. Other things you're gonna need is like a slotted spoon, something that you could pick up and so it drains as you pull out the curds out of the pot. You'll need a couple of bowls, so you pre-mix the citric acid and the rennet. I have measuring cups, so I measure correctly. Always want to use metal when you're dealing with heat or glass. So I got a metal strainer and a big colander for underneath, so when I start pulling out the curds. And I'm making double batch, so it's gonna be 2 gallons of whole milk. Make sure it's pasteurized milk, no organic milk, no 2%. It's gotta have, pasteurized whole milk. Just a quick fun fact, when, I guess in Italy and other places, like commercial places, they use you might hear them say a guitar. And what it is a square looking piece of wood, and between the sides of the wood there's strings, therefore they get the name of the guitar. They press the curd through the string so that they could get it into pieces. They get it into a block. Some people buy it, some, then they make their mozzarella. Some produce in large quantities, so they're gonna have these big chunks and they push it through the strings of the guitar, and it's called mazza. So that's where they get the word mozzarella, because the mazza is the pieces, the shredded pieces of the curd. Okay, let's go ahead and mix what we need here. So I'm going to mix 2 cups of water in 1 bowl for the citric acid. First cup. Second cup. And into this we're gonna put 3 teaspoons of the citric acid. I really should separate some of these things because it's easier if you can just pull out what you need, so you don't have to look through the measurements to see if you got the right one. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. And you want to mix this well until you feel that there's no grainy residue at the bottom. So I'm stirring. I still feel grains. I'm gonna keep stirring until I feel that this is dissolved nicely. And then I'm gonna mix a 1/4 cup of the spring water to a half a teaspoon of the rennet. That feels about right. I'm gonna get my half a teaspoon, and I'm gonna get the rennet here. And see, pour it right in. Doesn't use much. Half this teaspoon is not a lot. And after you open up your rennet, you want to make sure that you refrigerate it. It's very important. Okay. Let's see if I make it with this little bit. Yep, 1/4 cup. I'm gonna stir this as well. Okay, so as you work and make your mozzarella, you want to move things away from yourself so that you keep your area clean, neat, and organized. So we're going to get ready to pour the 2 gallons of milk into the pot. All right, guys, so we're going to start to pour the milk. Andiamo alla cucina. Let's go to the kitchen and get started. Got my slotted spoons here. So I like to move the rennet away from me. And always remember that's the smaller. And I tell you, I buy my milk at Ladle's or Aldi's. It's very cost sufficient. About $1.45 a gallon. That's cheap. You can make, with 2 gallons, you can make lots of mozzarella, or you can make lots of ricotta. I do both. I really believe in the farm-to-table type of environment in my household. I like to cook things for my family that are wholesome, nutritional, and that I've made. I know what's in it. I know my kitchen's clean, and I don't have to worry about anything. Okay, so getting this last gallon in. Remember, you want to have a nice strong pot that at least holds 2 gallons of milk, even if you're using 1 gallon. Always want to have it where you have room. Okay, so now we're going to take citric acid that I have here, and we're going to put it into the pot. And I'm going to pour it over the slots of the spoon, so it like disperses all over the place. And you want to mix this quickly. And you want to mix in a circular motion from the bottom to the top. Okay, just like that. To make sure that you mixed it well. Mixing just for a few moments here. Want to make sure it's incorporated well. And we're going to turn on the stove, get the milk to 90 degrees. Now, 90 degrees happens real quick, guys. So you've got, on this thing, you have to pay attention to the temperature, okay? All right. Okay, guys, we're back because we're almost close to the 90 degrees. When you stir this, don't stir it up rigorously. If you look here in the pot, you could already see some curds. The acidity, what the citric acid does is balance the pH. And you see here where I'm touching with the thermometer that there's already curds floating. So we're at 81 degrees. It won't take long for this to climb up real quick. I just finished stirring it. I also want to dedicate this video to my future daughter-in-law, Sabrina. I hope that you continue the traditions along with your future sister-in-laws, Annalisa and Marcella. Make a lot of these recipes because I want the tradition, Italian tradition, to continue so you can teach your kids. I also want to dedicate this to other people following me. One in particular to Joy, who requested this, and I decided to go ahead and make the mozzarella so that she could see how it's made. My family, my friends who support me, I'm very thankful for my family in New York, Rhode Island, and we're almost at the 90 degrees. Once we hit the 90 degrees, we're going to go ahead and add the rennet, and then we're going to cover the pot, leave it off the burner, and I'm going to move it to the back burner only because you don't want the continuous heat. And we're going to stir the rennet, like I said, into the pot, which is diluted. If you buy the same brand that I bought, half a teaspoon in a 1/4 cup of spring water. Remember, you do not want to use chloride, anything with chlorine or chloride in the water. And then after we put the rennet, we'll let it rest 10 to 15 minutes. We'll check back in the pot and we'll see it coagulated. And then we'll cut it into squares, like 1-inch squares. Like I'll show you how I do it. Then from there, we're gonna heat the pot back up to 105 degrees with the curd still being in the pot. Once we get that part accomplished, we're gonna strain the curd and then we'll start the stretching process. Okay, we're almost at 90 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my other pot that I have here that has water in it and some salt to get that prepared for when I have to use it to place over the curds to start the stretching process. So we're almost there, guys. Just a few seconds longer. Once this hits 90 degrees, we're gonna remove it over to a spot where it's off the grated metal here that's hot. Okay, almost at the 90 degrees. Just a few more seconds. 90 degrees, by the way, goes very quickly. It doesn't take long. It's almost like lukewarm milk. Just gonna give it another second or two. Make sure it's the same all the way around. I got 90 degrees. I always try to take it at the edge of the pot because I feel like the burn is not directly over it. Okay, off it goes. I'm gonna move it back here. And you can look and you can see some curds actually. Okay, when you pour this rennet in, you're gonna mix from top to bottom again in a circular motion. Okay, and you're gonna count to 25. After 25, you stop, that's it, and cover it, okay? So here we go. In goes the rennet. And we're gonna count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. I'm getting it to slow down. I don't want it to move anymore. And it's starting to, I can see the change. I'm gonna go ahead and cover the pot and be back in 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. It's been about 10, 15 minutes. I'm gonna pull this towards me here and see how it coagulated. Let's take a look. I'm gonna need a knife, give me a moment. If you look in here, nice. You can see that there's clear liquid all around. You can see the whey. As soon as I pushed away from it, you can see the yellow. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice this down the middle, all the way down. I use a stainless steel pot, so I'm not concerned with sticking the knife all the way to the bottom and cutting. You see I'm going long ways. Now I'm gonna go across the other way. And you can see the blocks right there. You can see the blocks forming. Once this is sliced, we're gonna bring the heat up to 105. Give it a little gentle stir and we're gonna let it sit again for a little bit. Okay. Come a little closer, Annalisa. You can see here the blocks. You see that? Okay, we're gonna turn this back on. You can see the whey, you can see the clearish liquid, yellowish liquid there. Okay? I'm gonna put the pot cover back on the water that I'm keeping hot so when we're ready to stretch the mozzarella, it's ready. I also have a bowl here with some cold water and some salt. I used Himalayan pink salt. I did use Himalayan pink salt in the pot. I put quite a bit. But you'll get used to as you make it a few times where your taste buds are and how salty you want it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this in here real quick just to see where we're at. And then I'm gonna stir this gently. So right now we're about, didn't lose much heat. I'm gonna go ahead and stir this gently so you could see. I'm gonna go from the bottom Look at those curds, how beautiful. Do you see that? And if you see one's not cut, just raise your spoon gently and you could just let it fall over the spoon. You don't want to disturb this too much, but you do want to give it a little bit of a turn. Okay. Again, I'm going to get this to 105 degrees. Some people constantly stir the curds. I like to sort of like leave it, give it a little bit of a stir here and there, get it to where I need it, and then turn off the pot. And then we'll strain after a few minutes. So it's almost at 90 degrees. I'll see you at 105. All right, guys, I'm back. We're at 105 degrees, and we'll go ahead and shut off the pot. I want you to take a look real close. Take a look at the pot and look at that yellow hue. That is called the whey. Okay? See that float? It's yellow, clear. All the curds are underneath. I'm going to show you by just giving it a quick stir. So you can see the curd that is still intact. You see that there? Look how beautiful that is. I don't want to disturb it too much. Just a little slight stir, very gently. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit for another, now that the heat is close, I turn off the heat, I'm gonna go ahead and let it sit for a few minutes, about 10 to 15 minutes. Then I'll be back and we'll start pulling the curd out, and we shall start the stretching process. Okay guys, I'm back. We're gonna start removing the curd from the pot and the whey. One thing I do want to mention to you is that whey water, you could use it for, instead of using like water to make your soups, you could use that whey liquid. It's very healthy, it's got a lot of protein. You could also use it in your garden for your vegetables, your herbs. All right, let's start taking this curd out. Really nice curd. And you could see, I hope you guys could see, I'm here working alone, so it's a little difficult. From time to time, my daughter does come and help, so that's Annalisa. I want to thank her. She follows a little bit in her mom's footsteps. And you see I have the big strainer over that pot that I showed you earlier, that big container. So it goes straining in there little by little. Because we're going to squeeze out a lot of the whey. Whoopsie. I'm going to go ahead and finish straining this and I'll be back. Guys, we're back. I strained the mozz from the pot, which again is called the mozzarella curd. That's where they get the name mozzarella. If you look in here, you could see the whey, nice and yellow. So I just drained this. I got everything that I could out of it. And now we're going to start to squeeze the whey out some more. And there's a lot of whey liquid sitting in here. I'm continuing to strain it. Okay guys, so I already worked half this. I had to break it in half. And now I'm starting the stretching process. So I squeeze as much whey as I could out of it. And then I keep it in a basket and place it into the water here. And I wait, give it a few minutes in that 175, 180 water. So it gets it back up to temperature. Pull it out. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Take it, and you can see it's very hot, but you can see how it's starting to form. And you see the stretch, nice stretch. Fold it in half, squeeze, stretch. We're gonna do this a couple of times. I had to take a pause, I'm sorry, and do half of it. But you see how it's getting nice and elasticy? But it's gonna go back in now, back into the hot water, because I have to work this just a few more times. So back in the water, I place it in the basket. It's just easy for me to take out. Give it a few minutes in there. I don't know, maybe I just think maybe 8 seconds, 10 seconds, 12 seconds. Lift it a little bit, I can look at it. Remember, I salted the water. Now, I'm a little bit of a person that doesn't like too salty, but you might want to add a little bit more salt than I did. This is very hot. Like I told you earlier in the video, see how nice it stretches? I misplaced my heat-resistant gloves, but you can see the stretch. Fold, stretch, stretch. And now I'm going to place this back in, just the way it is. I'm just going to give it a little fold in here and place it back in the water. Just make it a little bit easier, but this is going to be hot for my hands, so bear with me. If you see, if I were the first time making mozzarella, I would do it with 1 gallon instead of 2. So you try it and see if it works for you instead of wasting 2 gallons. But look how nice it stretches. Look at that, how beautiful. See that? Now you can start forming it into a ball if you want, like this. And what you want to see is that nice shine. You see the shine? You could even do this with your hands, thumb and finger, like that. And then just twist and break it off, and you got a ball. See that? So I might at least leave this one like this. And I'm going to place it in a cool bath of water. I'm just going to put this in one more time. A few seconds. When you drain the curds, right, you want to make sure that you squeeze as much water as you can out of it. And then take that 175 to 180 water temperature and place the curd in there and work it like I'm working it now. So the first couple of steps, when you put it in, when it gets back up to that heat is when it's going to get in this texture. And you just keep working and squeeze the water out of it, put it back in, squeeze the water out of it until you get to a consistency where you'll be able to tell when it's enough to start stretching. See, I don't like the way this one came out the way I formed it, so I'm just going to place it back in for a second or 2 or 6. And then I'm going to take it out and re-squeeze it. There you go. See, it's nice and hot now. And I could. Nice, shiny mozzarella ball. Okay? So I broke my batch in half so that I could show you guys. But that's basically it. And you made mozzarella cheese. I showed you guys how to plate it, how to eat it. And again, you could salt this as you make it. By placing salt in the water or placing some salt in on the mozzarella itself and then stretching it. But like I said, I watch my salt intake. My mom lives with me, and so I try to keep the salt down. I could always add salt when you serve it. When you slice it, you could add some salt on it. You could put your seasonings. Another thing that I didn't do, I could show you, but now this is still warm, is slicing it and placing it in olive oil, some crushed red pepper, a little salt, a little lemon thyme, a little oregano, let it marinate, and when you slice it, it's ready for your guests. Again, I made this video for my future daughter-in-law, Sabrina, whom I care for very much and would like her to continue these traditions. Some of the people that requested, Joy, who requested the mozzarella video, so this goes out to you as well. Everyone following me. Continue to please follow me and leave comments. I appreciate it. And until next time, till the next recipe. All right? Have a good time. Bye. Dry it over the paper towel. Still very fresh, very pliable. I'm going to go ahead and slice this so you could see it. How beautiful. Really nice. Look at the inside of this. How beautiful. And we're going to take this. I got some fresh basil from my garden. I just went outside and got it. place it behind the tomatoes. You get the gist. Okay, a little supersata there. I'm gonna put a little extra virgin olive oil, drizzle it right on. And then I'm a citrus person, so I have also some lemon thyme from the garden. Just gonna throw some of that on there. Take some of the leaves off. It's really fragrant. Gives a nice appearance to the plate. And then I have dried oregano from my garden from last year. I had a lot of it. Put a little oregano on there. Only thing we're missing is a nice piece of bread. Let me get that. You could also get a little bit of some bread here. You could dip in the oil. I also have taralli in the closet, in the pantry. I'll get some of those too, in case you like a little bit of a crunch. This is nice crusty Italian bread. I'll have to do one of these shows for the taralli, the calabrese taralli. So there you have it. All you're missing is a nice glass of wine. Have a nice Chianti to go with it. But there you go. All you're missing is opening up the bottle of wine. Give you a little look-see there. Whatever kind of wine you want, but that's the finished product there. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I apologize that I'm the only one directing the video, so it's a little hard for me to videotape and get everything done. However, if you liked the video, if you like what you saw, what you learned, please put a like on there, put a comment. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow and share the page with other people. And again, thank you so much. Have a great day.